Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you have not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and a link in the info box below the video once it's rendered. But most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the show and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show. Sharing the show increases the live audience, of course, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you are new to the channel or you have not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by a Plain Truth, Ranty and Arwin. How are you all doing?
Doing good, thank you very much.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Arwin?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. It's very hot here. And,
Nice.
I got a few things to say. Don't know if I should be saying it right at the start of the show, but
Ideally not.
see.
So, Arwin, if it's good by you, I'm hoping that Ranty, just so it's the show opener rather than your rant.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse the strange phrasing there. So if Ranty can go instead of your rant, that would be great. Because Ranty's going to address something that I think Tim Osman brought up on one of the videos yesterday. Is that right, Ranty?
Yeah, well, it was a hangout I did this morning. I did a somewhat of a response video this morning, completely annihilating another flat earther who made claims against my videoing and evidence that I've put forth for the flat Earth. So he's completely discredited himself yesterday. Anyway, I'm not going to mention his name right now. But essentially, on that particular stream that I did, Tim Osman left a comment that he wants me to address. So I'm just going to share my screen. There we go. Where are we? Flat Earth Debate. So this was the hangout that I did this morning. In the actual comment section, with talking to Tim Osman here. Essentially, what he's saying is that he believes that it's a pretty impossible shot to get what I did, and he actually believes that the location must be a different location, evidenced by this particular sentence here. He says, "My feeling is you haven't provided evidence that shot was from 1 foot. The parallax seems to match with your 50-foot observation just north of there and near the road, but I am having a hard time believing that it was from a few foot off the ground," right? So that's his position. He thinks it's impossible to get the image that I got from a one elevation due to any kind of parallax. Now, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and presume that he hasn't actually seen the actual video that I shot just before that. So I'm going to start the video and show you what actually happened. So this is for Tim Osman. This is basically for his benefit. This is me just I'm panning around, just showing you where I am. I'm by the water right now. There's my tripod set to about 1.5 feet. So it's just above my knee, I would say, or around about my knee in height, the tripod. But I'm not actually filming from the tripod at the moment. I'm actually holding the camera freehand, around about 5 foot in elevation. Now, what's interesting here is you see doubling up of everything that we're looking at. So all the buildings are doubled up on themselves. This green part is doubled up on itself. Everything's refracted up. And what will become important is this boat is passing from left to right. You can actually see it moving. And when I'm going to crouch down in a minute, and when it all goes fuzzy, that's me lowering my elevation. So I'm watching the boat go from left to right. You can clearly see it's moving across from left to right. And I'm trying to focus on that post there, because behind that post is where the lighthouse is. Now, I know that the lighthouse is there and I should be seeing it, but I can't see it because this post is in the way. this is going to become important again through the parallax issue. So here I am lowering my elevation. It goes a little bit fuzzy as I drop down to my knees. And what happens now is everything seems to clear up. I'm just going to let the video play because it takes a few seconds for the camera to take focus. But when it does, you'll see a distinct change in what we're actually viewing. So here we go. For a start, everything seems a lot clearer. The buildings that aren't refracted anywhere near as much. Just wait for the camera to focus again. And I have to say, this is probably the finest flat Earth proof that you're going to find this year. Anywhere, any observation of anywhere. Honestly. There's the boat traversing past this post. So it's going from left to right and it's still moving, going across. Now I'm trying to focus in on that and I can't actually see the lighthouse. There's Barrow in Furness, the clock tower. Here we have the buildings of Barrow. We also get the image where you can see that the refraction zone is above the actual lower part of the images. You can see down to the ground. If I stop it there, you've actually even got the rock that's in front of this building. It's actually a dental care centre, that one. There's the clock tower of Barrow. And of course, there's the post. And the boat is still travelling from left to right. Now, this is going to come important on the still shots because he makes a suggestion that it's not filmed from the same location or from a higher elevation. So hopefully I'll pan back round in a moment and be able to stop the camera at the right point. So there's the boat. It's still moving from left to right. Here we're coming up to where the I actually don't show it. Come on. Right. Let me just go back a few slides then. So there we go. That's where it was. Just here. Right. So here we go. Here's the post, and behind it is the lighthouse. Right. There's the roof of the lighthouse. There's the green building. This green building will become important, and also the fact that it's refracted up. So we also have just seen the boat go from left to right. So can you see how the lighthouse is perfectly in a line with this yellow and black post that's obstructing me? So I have to be in a direct line with this. Right, that's the important part. And when I towards the end, as I zoom back out towards the end of the video, you've just seen this. What I'll do is I'll do a panoramic. I'll turn around to the side. First, I'll show you my body position, which is clearly crouched down. You can see that. I'm showing you. Now I turn to show you that I'm at the height of the tripod. And then now I will stand up. So I've now elevated myself to about 5 feet, showing you this is where I'm looking. And then I say on the video that I'm going to crouch down and take some images from the same spot. So that's my location from the video, right? And this will be the location. This will be the evidence to prove. Here we go, 3702. So 3701 was the video. 3702 is the first image. 3703, which is this one, which is the next image. Here we go. So parallax. There's the green building. There's the lighthouse behind the post, directly behind the post, proving that I have to be in a direct line. I was going to crouch back down again, which I did on the video, and I was going to shoot some images from this exact position. Also, you can see the height of the lighthouse. It goes up to just under the halfway mark on this yellow part. And also we'll see the boat in a moment to prove that I did it at the same time. Here's the back end of the boat that was going from left to right. There's the parallax, there's the lighthouse, there's the post in the way, there's the boat. And if on the next, I'm panning across again, going from left to right, you can just make out the post on the left, and you can see the boat still moving to the right. So it was done at the same time from the same position. The parallax proves that I was directly behind this yellow post. And also when we go on to the actual proof of what we're actually seeing, because he doesn't believe that we could see this from that distance. This is 1 foot in elevation.
That little boat in the foreground then looked a little bit behind the hump, didn't it?
Well, everything looks flat. I mean, that is as flat a water as you're ever going to see.
Yep.
This is now DSCN 3718, so it's about 10 images further down the line. I'm still in the exact same position. I haven't moved. The lighthouse is still directly behind this post, right? Now, what's going to become important is I do move position. Not now. Still in the same position behind the post, but I will actually move position, and I stand up, and I've taken a new image now of me changing position. Right, this is where I've now moved position. I've pulled away from the water because the water was coming in, and I wanted to take an image now. And now you can see the parallax issue difference. I've moved just about 5 feet away from the water, but look at the parallax issue. Now we have the lighthouse, and I'm standing up when I take this, and that's why it's refracted up, so it's doubled up on itself. But the post is now to the left. Yeah.
What's the distance to the post in the foreground?
I don't know.
Okay.
I have no idea. It's in the water.
But guess. Guess.
I couldn't guess.
What I mean by guess, sorry, is it something that you could walk out to and get to, or is it something that's considerably in the distance, miles potentially?
Yeah, I think it's a fair way away.
Okay.
I'd say maybe a couple of miles away, as a rough guess. But on these images, what we're actually seeing down to, right? This is the dental place in Barrow Furnace. We have a rock that's actually in the sand dune and on the water's edge that we're actually seeing in the image. We have the clock tower, which obviously the refraction zone we're beneath it, so it's refracting up. The clock face is split in two, and it's now pushing itself upwards. But in the earlier images, we see that a lot clearer. Where are we? Not this way. 3702, isn't it? Sorry. I know I'm making a bit of a hash of this. There we go, 3702. So this was the first image shot after I crouched down. And again, you can see the rock, you can see the dentals. None of this should be seen. Nothing of this should be seen from this distance. 18 miles, it's all hidden, right? And this is why Tim Osmond said that he couldn't understand how I was able to see all this from 1 foot in elevation. And I needed to try and prove that I was essentially at 1 foot in elevation, where you can see the waves cresting here. And you can also see the parallax with the lighthouse. You can see that I haven't moved position at all, and from the video, and you can also see that the boat is still moving from left to right across the screen. So you know it's at the exact same time, the exact same position. I didn't move, and I did do the image from 1 foot, and you can tell that by I've taken a screenshot. This is the screenshot here of the video, right? This is the image. This is an image that I took, and I've just cropped it down. But you can obviously there's a bit of the green at the top is missing here because the refraction when I was taking the video was still a bit evident. I actually was a bit lower taking the images, so we got away from that. But you can see it's exactly the same position. There's no doubt that this is the same place, same height, same observation height, everything. Identical. In fact, I did a little. This
just
was
go
me
back one. Sorry, just before you go on to your explanation with the example, this shot here, because you explained this to me this morning, and when we diced up this particular image, you're explaining that you'd kind of got the camera on your knee and you'd slip down another couple of inches when you were taking the stills because you didn't have to hold it as close to actually monitor it. So, from what I understand, from what Ranti has explained to me, this refraction on the left, you won't see this in the Hangout, but this refraction, so on this building, it's doubled up on itself on the left-hand image for you guys in the Hangout. I'll take your word for it that it's green, but you say it's the green building. So this section here is reflected above itself. Now, when he's taken a still, when Ranti's taken the same still, he doesn't get that refraction. In other words, he's dipped below it so much that it's no longer actually pushing the image on top of itself, contrary to what most people see in these images, which is this would be refracted down and obscuring the rest of the stuff beneath it, i.e. the rest of the lighthouse and the shoreline. But my point is that this is the difference between maybe 3 inches, literally 3 inches, and he's got rid of a doubling up effect of this building on top of itself by dropping another 3 inches, which I just find astonishing.
Yeah, I mean, this was how I was taking the image. I mean, you see it in the video that I'm crouching down. I show my shadow to show you that, and then I turn around and I hold in the camera and I face the tripod. So it literally at about knee height, like here. And then when I actually do the photography with the still shots, it's from a position of about, instead of it being from there, say, it's possibly, I would say, about here. So that's the difference. That's where I did the video from, and that's where I did the photography from, like a foot in elevation. And the reason I've just done a little diagram here, basically, if that was my observation point here, this little red circle here, and that's the post that's in the water in the way, and this little circle over here is what I'm trying to view, which is the lighthouse. This is the parallax issue. If I moved anywhere other than in a straight, if I wasn't in a directly straight line, and that, like proved with the other, when I stepped back 5 feet, and I readjusted my position. So I stepped back 5 feet. So now I'm at this position, and now I'm looking across this post. Now what I see is that the lighthouse is on the right-hand side of me instead of directly behind me. So I could only have done the video and shot the video and taken the images from this exact position. There's no, I couldn't have gone this way. I couldn't have done it from that way. I had to have done it in this exact position at the same time as that boat was traversing the picture. There's no denying my position, my elevation, and you can also even see in the relative heights of the white that you can actually make out on the lighthouse, that it is from the same position. You know, it's the same position, same height, everything. So Timmy Osmond, it's a shame that you didn't come in, because I wanted you to come in. I'm just going to show this on the what he actually put. I wanted him to come in and asked him to come on the panel. Unfortunately, he didn't want to come in to do a panel. He wanted me to do it on his channel or mine. But essentially, if he'd been in, I could have asked him and pinned him to it and said, do you believe now that I took it from the same position? Because he says that it only makes sense if I did it from a 50-foot observation. In his opinion, he believes a 1 foot position is totally out of the question. It would be impossible to get that, and on a bald earth it would be impossible to get that, absolutely impossible. But the fact is, we're seeing shoreline to shoreline.
Absolutely awesome.
Shoreline to shoreline.
Yep. 18 miles, shore to shore, no obstruction, flat as a pancake. Only thing observed is an angular size reduction at distance. As you would expect, as perspective dictates. Got anything else you want to add, Ranty?
Nope, that's essentially that.
Cool.
There's no CGI involved in this. This is genuine images. If I'd have known actually it was been this good, I'd have taken a fair few more images of the same spot. But because it was the sun was behind me and the screen was sort of like reflecting, I wasn't even sure what I was actually capturing. I'll be honest. I couldn't, because it's a tiny little screen on the P900. If I'd have known I was getting this, I'd have stayed there all day and filmed it properly all day. But I think we've got enough to.
That's always the way, though, isn't it? You know, you don't know what you're going to get till you get it, and when you've got it and you look at it at home, you're like, oh, if only I'd have just leveled the camera better, or zoomed in a bit more, or zoomed in a bit less, or just changed the focus level. In this instance, you didn't know what you got. You got back and you're a jammy git, really, away. Sometimes.
It is, and I'll say it again. I was the lucky person on the right time at the right place to get this. It just seems that there's a few people now doing this 1 foot observation and getting a very, very similar result. We're actually getting underneath that refraction zone. So it's definitely something going forward that we could all utilize and work on. Get above that refraction zone. In fact, hang on, I just want to show you what it looks like. I think I might have it on
Are you going to show us from 50 foot now?
No, from standing up, but about probably 8 foot in elevation. It might be on a video. I think I've got it on here. I'm just going to show the difference. Yeah, this is it. This is the difference. So this is from me standing up, and you know when I said I'd moved back, this is what I wanted to show you. So I moved back. So I was taking the videos from here, and I'm about 5 foot further away, and I'm standing up when I take this next. When they take this next image, right? So here we are taking the next image. Straight away, that green has doubled. This has doubled and reflected up on itself, right? This building, especially over here, can you see So there's the rock, there's the dental practice that I talked about in Barrow and Furnace, and it's reflected upon itself. So the circle of confusion has already started. Just the fact that I moved back 5 steps away from the water and stood up. So increasing my elevation by just a few feet made this massive difference. Look at this, it's all reflected up.
Ranty.
Yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt, mate, but Tim's in chat saying that you've misunderstood everything in plain text. So now would you be a gentleman and pander to his needs and go through the plain text that he sent to you and go through it and show how you've not misunderstood it and how you're being misrepresented in chat by a moron with girly ankles?
Wait a minute. Well, okay, so basically he says it was terrible atmospheric conditions when I did it with a poor quality shot. Right, I would kindly disagree with that. We're looking over water at a distance of 18 miles. While providing the picture is being taken from there, while proving the picture is being taken from there, it would be pretty impossible. It would be a pretty impossible shot. So basically he's saying that he thinks it would be an impossible shot to take it from that same position again from a 2-foot elevation, right? He then goes on to say, where are we? My feeling is you haven't provided evidence that shot was from 1 foot. The parallax seems to match with your 50-foot observation just north of there near the road, but I am having a hard time believing it was from a few foot off the ground. I think that's pretty clear. He says that he thinks the parallax is different to the video. I show the video. Right, let me show you. Tim, if you just come in, or are you just trolling, mate? Because...
Well, I mean, you can summarise it again. That would be handy anyway. Just there might be others who've just joined. But yeah, just show your observation point, show where you film from, show what you see. Easy.
Yeah, so, there we go. So there I am. And I actually stand on this side of the tripod because I turn and look at this side of the tripod. So I'm actually stood here when I take the video. Right?
Can you just buzz? Sorry, Granty. Can you just buzz to the last 20 seconds and just play it uninterrupted?
20 seconds.
Last 20 seconds, please.
All right. So here's me zooming back out again from crouched position, right next to the water's edge. I show that I'm crouching by use of a shadow because I think that's the best way to try and do that. I show that there's my level with the camera tripod. I then stand up to show that I had been crouching down and show the difference and how close I am to the water. And right now, I now crouch down again. You can see the elevation change as I crouch down. You'll see me crouch down now. There we go. And then I say on the video, I'm now going to take some still shots from this exact position. So the parallax, Timmy, was addressed here. Where are we? In this particular one here. This was from the video. This is from the video. And this is from the actual still shot. You can tell by the fact that the lighthouse is directly behind the post and ever so slightly to the left. And it's directly behind the post and ever so slightly to the left. The green building is there. The green building is there. The rock is here, or whatever that is. The rock's there. It's from exactly the same position. There's no way I couldn't have the parallax issue that you say you don't believe. If I was stood there and I was looking through that post, then I would have seen the lighthouse to the left, just as I show in the later images when I move just a few feet. Where are we? So on here, when I just moved a few feet back, there I've moved from right next to the water to here, maybe 5 paces, and now you can see that the lighthouse is to the right-hand side of the post. So I've essentially moved away.
Can you just stay on this image for a second, Ranty? So Tim Osman poses a question that, where's the rest of these buildings? So if you just stay on this shot for 1 second. So I'm going to draw the audience's attention to this kind of eye-shaped building on the left-hand side.
And do you want a clearer image of that, or
this is
great. A refracted one? This
is refracted. So Tim often poses the question, where's the rest of the buildings? And in his images, he's got this fold line with the mirage below the building. Whereas what we've got on Ranty's images, because what we're postulating is him going underneath what we're calling a refractive band. Yeah, that's nowhere near as good.
Which one?
Neither one with the The most obvious one is the clock tower with two faces. If you can dig that one
Oh,
out.
you want that? Oh, right, I see.
I want to show that what people typically call obstruction because of mirage, which Tim also does. Where's the buildings? Well, you've got a mirage underneath. Yeah, so what? Well, yeah, so what? Well, if you get underneath that same mirage, suddenly the stuff it's obscuring is clear, and you have the opposite effect. So we have this clock with two faces. One obviously isn't the right clock because you don't tend to have clock faces at the bottom. So this is definitely not the real clock. But this would typically, in any other normal image, be the other way around, obscuring all of this to about the same size, depending on where the refraction line sits, or the fold line, as some people call it, whatever you want to call it, the midpoint of the mirage. That would be obscuring all of this, so you'd never see the beach. Whereas in Ranty's images, yeah, you can see the beach all right, shore to shore, about 20 miles. And anyway, that's the point. This typically doesn't go above, it goes below in most people's photographs.
Well,
and that's what's obscuring
Timmy also
usually.
said that this is the dental centre. We know it's the dental centre. There's also the town hall. This rock that I've seen in other observations that I've taken, I'll have to dig it out and find it, and maybe I should present that a little bit later if I can find that particular image. But yeah, so yeah, and the parallax issue sorted here, Timmy. Well, directly behind the post. You can tell I've not moved.
Excellent. Ranty, are you okay to let Anthony present something? Although there is a bit of a queue, Anthony. Arwin was waiting to have a bit of a rant. Who's ready first, I suppose, is the question.
I think Arwin was perhaps ready.
Yeah. I'm still wondering if it's even worth it.
Well, don't do it if you don't feel that you need to.
Well,
Do you need
consider
to
it while
address
maybe...
Well, I don't feel that I need to, but I do feel that I kind of want to.
Maybe you should do it. Maybe you should do a live stream straight after this finishes, and then everyone can pop over there. And
No.
no,
It's better to do it on here. I asked special permission,
okay.
and it's kind of good to do it like directly after the previous hangout.
I think he's baiting you. Actually, he's actually just called you a coward.
Yeah, but that's all he ever does. So he awake souls, Jason. You are a false prophet. You are a wolf in sheep's clothing. You are a Satanist by definition and a psychopath, and you pose as a Christian. You do not have any friends. In your mind, you cannot even recognize what friendship is. You only know followers and opponents in your mind because you are probably a rape victim when you were 8 years old, when that Catholic priest raped you.
There's no need.
And then
No
you
need.
didn't. Nobody told you.
No
Didn't tell
need. This is
anybody
like
about
way
it, and
too
that
over the
turned
top,
you into
Arwen.
a psychopath.
No need. It's just way too over the top, mate.
No, it's not. And hey, don't interrupt me. I got my permission. I'm gonna do this. I think you probably are a pedophile rape victim by a Catholic priest.
Alwyn, come on.
No,
on,
I think
Arwen.
he really is, and that turned him into a psychopath. It
Yeah, but
happens.
you're using that
some
P
people.
word and the R word.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna do it because I think it's legit. I think that really happened, and it's very sad
It's your
for him.
opinion, man. No one
He
really
didn't seek any help, and he
Wild speculation.
basically let the
Absolutely
dark
no
spirit
evidence.
take him over as that happened.
Okay, well, in
And
the
now
interest
he's
of balance,
just turned into
Arwen.
a psychopath,
Arwen
and
has
he
absolutely
just
no
seeks
evidence
to
of his
destroy
assertion.
everything and everyone around him, and he infiltrated Flat Earth, and all he ever does here is just try to destroy everyone
no one
that
cares
does
about-
not agree with him. Can you please stop interrupting me?
Yeah,
but
let him
Can you stop
say what he says.
interrupting me, please? Okay, I'll be finished soon. So I said that, and I meant it. I meant every word of it. I think that really happened. But I just want to identify who this person really is. Because I think that in his mind, he probably lies to himself and convinces himself that he is actually a prophet of Christ. But when he prays every night, he probably does. He's actually praying to Lucifer. And he thinks that because this aberration tells him that he is Christ and he has to just take out all the opponents, all that do not agree with his dictates, that he is actually a good Christian and that he's going to end up in heaven while everybody else is going to hell. Well, I'm going to tell you something. You are already in hell. You're isolated. You're in hell. And when you die, you're going to stay exactly there. And you're going to rot there in the abyss forever.
Are you
You
done?
piece of shit. So,
Feel better?
yeah.
Good.
Okay.
Excellent. In the interest of
Right,
balance,
Arwen.
Arwen is just asserting his own opinion.
Yeah, those views are probably not the opinions or.
They do not reflect the opinions of the Flat Earth Debate Show.
Yeah, that's the one.
Host or producer, all being me.
Right, so in return, Arwen, given that we didn't interrupt you whilst you were ranting.
Yeah, you did. Thanks for that.
No, you asked me not to do, and then I decided not to. Let you finish your piece, and then we'll move on. And I did that. In return, would you mind covering the back door while I make some statements?
Sure.
Thank you, sir. Right. Last night we were in Nathan and I were in Isa Mahalski's, and
Was I?
Nathan, just as Isa Mahalski opened up the chat, Nathan disappeared, and he was getting called all the names under the sun because he was a coward and he was running away. Really bad, that, Nathan.
Oh yeah. Who was calling me some names then? Let's have them. Let's know who.
Yeah, it was me.
Was it you?
'Cause you're really old.
Hey, Alan.
Morning, Alan.
Hey, Alan.
So I got to the point where I've worked out, or I've got their explanation for why perspective. Their view is twofold. It's one, they want it both ways, right? They say that we're wrong to apply the mountain at 1,000 feet. Sorry, they say that we're wrong to apply the mountain at anything smaller
Timmy.
than 1,000 feet because the mountain is 1,000 feet. But their position is that they want to view it locally because they put the tangent line in, which is the hidden line, and they want to view it locally. And I said, but you're not doing perspective by viewing it locally. Put your 1,000 feet in, but go back to the observer with the eyeballs. That's the way we see it. Now, when we see it from the eyeballs, we see it getting smaller and smaller and smaller into the distance. And then it drops if we're behind a ball. And the problem is, they say that the 1,000 feet is accounting for the perspective, but they only want to view it locally. They've got to view it from the eyes of the observer, and that's called perspective. The minute you move away from that observer view and look at it locally, then that's orthographic. But they don't accept it. And their position is that when you put that mountain...
Dude. Seriously.
What was your question?
Does a laser follow the so-called line?
You want to show us one of the examples of photography we've taken with lasers in it, Tim?
I'm trying. What was that weird laugh?
Hold on. Awake Soul says that he actually respected that I tried.
Or not?
That is sick, man.
Yeah, sure. Just show us one of the examples we took with a laser in it, or we've ever had on the show ever.
Question, actually.
Right. Well, we've been comparing photography to a calculation that doesn't account for perspective, something you just interrupted him and told him we've heard it. Yeah, you don't want to hear it again, Tim. I don't mind reiterating it. Every single calculation, every presentation ever done using the standard model of the Earth as a globe was wrong.
Actually,
You got it wrong, Tim. You don't want to hear it, you want to talk over me. I know, Tim, you don't want to hear this. No glober wants to hear this. No glober wants to hear that you're denying reality and trying to remove yourself from the eyeballs of the observer or the photography that you're actually analysing. Nobody wants to hear this, Tim, but you are going to hear it. You're going to hear it again and again and again.
So basically what the position is that when it comes to putting in your...
Ranty, you want to chat real quick so we can figure this out, buddy?
Well, what is it you want to figure out?
I'll give way, Tim. You hijack my point. It's fine.
Yeah, you go ahead, Tim. You're
You
presented.
guys have been going on about this forever now, so okay.
Go ahead, you're
cool.
on, Tim.
You're right.
Tim.
Hey, cool. So can you look at my screen real quick, Granty?
Hang on, wait. Hang on. Yeah, right, got you.
All right, so you said you were basically outside Clevley's and a 50-foot observation here, correct?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Not so far.
So
off.
the thing about parallax, I was agreeing with you that it seemed
Hello?
talking about is the 50-foot observation and this 1-foot observation, how the clock tower looks. The clock is at than at your 50-foot. It's more straight on in the 50-foot. I was agreeing with where you're positioning. That's what I was saying.
All right, so yeah, so you agree that I was at 1 foot then?
My issue here is though, is that there's such ridiculous refraction going on, and it's such a bad picture that you had in your live hangout was. So why didn't you talk about this one? Where's this from?
Oh, crikey, now you're asking. Does it have an image on it? Does it say a number on it? It should do in this. You should be able to see a number on it.
If you can make your screen full, that one you're
37
watching, Tim.
D what,
No.
sorry?
3702C.
Oh right, yeah. So that's the main one that we use quite a lot of. Yeah, 3702.
Yeah, so where is this from? Is this from outside of Cleveland's right here?
Yeah,
At
that's
1
from
foot?
the 1 foot. Yeah, that's the 1 foot elevation. Yeah.
So you're saying you can see this building
I'm saying
from
that's what
1 foot?
Yeah, that's what the camera showed. Yeah. You saw it in the video too.
Well, first of all, I don't really get pissed or say anything about the half a foot or probably 2 feet. You're actually off the level of the water, which is kind of foot, which you're not at.
Are you? Is anyone else
But-
breaking up? Can
That's
you
just
hear him
Tim.
breaking up?
Tim is breaking up, yeah.
Right. Okay. You're just breaking up, Tim. You say a word and then I don't hear the next one.
Cool Earth, dude. It's ridiculous.
What? We missed all of that, mate.
I'll pop back on.
Cool.
No worries. Yeah, hopefully when he comes back on, we'll get his points. But
His connection was crappy.
Yeah, we couldn't really make out what his objection was.
Just to let Issa know, I accidentally removed him. Sorry, Issa.
Oh, you accidentally removed somebody.
Because I think Arwin just literally removed Bobby Bobbles or whatever his name is, and I clicked on the other account to remove Bobby Bobbles.
You told me to do that. So.
Yeah, I know, and I'm watching it as well, just in case you're like not paying attention or whatever. So we're both doing it together. That's fine. But obviously, when you removed Bob Bobbles, I clicked Issa and then clicked remove, thinking it was Bobby Bobbles, but you'd already removed Bobby Bobbles, and then Issa took his place. Sorry, Issa.
Anyway, we had a massive shout out today. Massive shout out.
Yeah, Mahusive. Red Pill Philosophy. Like 190 something thousand subscribers. Shouted out Flat Earth Debate specifically in the work you guys have been doing. And a specific phrase I'd used, which you named me for using, saying that the globe had co-opted perspective.
Yay!
Cool.
Yeah, thank you for that, Red Pill Philosophy, if you're watching. I'm literally lost for words. Thank you.
Oh, he's in the chat. There we go. Good work, Nathan. Yes, it is indeed. Anthony, you were saying something. You were making a point.
Yeah. Tim's back in. I'll wait for him to finish.
Let me just see if we can hear
All
Tim.
right. Okay.
All right.
Go
So
on,
it's
Tim.
probably better, I'm guessing. Anyway, let me share my screen really quickly. So in this video, which I did all watch a lot of your content for some reason, because I wanted to see where you're coming from. This image, is this high quality image? I'm just wondering, do you think so?
Well, that's just color contrast. I've just changed the brightness and contrast on that from the 1 foot elevation. Yeah.
Shout out to
Were you
Joyce.
in digital? Were you in digital zoom by any chance?
Not in digital zoom, no.
Okay, I don't know how it gets so bad considering I have two P900s and I never get images like this, which is fine. I actually agree with you that this is the medical building. This is the clock tower and all that kind of stuff. What I'm having issues is, can you replicate this on different days, maybe with better atmospheric conditions, because to the left over here, it's really, there's like a lot of mirroring and stuff going on. So all I'm saying is, yeah, remove that person, is that if you could replicate this, it would be good evidence. I guess not really for flat Earth, but I think that this distance and seeing this much at that height is it goes against the sphere, and it definitely goes against the curve calculator. Now, I use the curve calculator on your newest video with the lighthouse. I don't even have to put in refraction. I don't need to. Is somebody sniping people or what?
Nope.
Okay. It works completely fine. Your new video with the lighthouse. I'm just saying, it's 30 foot up the ground. It's 69 foot up. It works perfect without any refraction.
No, it's focal height. The focal height is the height above sea level. So its focal height is 69 feet. So you don't include the base of what it's.
Okay, but
the
the
focal height is the actual height above the water that you can the light leaves the tower from.
So they're saying the lighthouse total height is 79 feet.
The focal
and the
height.
elevation of no. Look, 69 feet is the focal height. 79 feet is the total height. 30 foot elevation on the ground that it's standing on. So how does that work out?
Yeah, if you do a Google search now for focal height houses, that will say that it's the actual height above sea level.
Okay, but the total height, like I just said, is 79 foot. So it's 10 foot difference, and there's a 30 foot elevation from the lighthouse base.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree that it's 79 feet high and there's 30 foot?
Hang on, wait a minute. Let me look at it up now.
If you can get better images of this, like myself, I go to, obviously, this is the difference between my images and yours, where, I don't know the UK, but it seems like you guys don't have any curvature over there sometimes or something.
Let me just stop you there for a minute. You take it from a bridge, and you also take it over basically a canal or a lake, right? So you don't have to avoid the incoming and follow the tide out or run from the tide as it's coming in, right? Because I do all my filming at about a foot in elevation right next to the water. Times I am drenched, it literally goes into my boots. I have about 30 seconds to a minute to take my image or my footage from that exact position, right? I don't have the luxury to be able to set up, put my tripod nice and straight, and then start filming. That just isn't a possibility. The tide comes in and goes out so quickly. I haven't got that luxury.
No, I mean this I would suggest any flat earther or anybody that's interested in this topic to come out to the Great Salt Lake and do observations, because not only is it very calm, sometimes the atmospheric conditions are very nice. The mountains that are behind me in this picture are very varying distances. So I'm not here to play games with you. I haven't slept all night, so I don't really care. I'm trying to get this straight with Ranty because he wanted me to come on. So if that's okay with you, without your little comments and shit. So
yeah, sure. I mean, anyway, I have been down to the same place. I've tried to replicate the same stuff now, probably for the last 4 weeks. I've probably gone to the same location, and I've seen it one other time where I didn't get it quite as good. So in probably 30 attempts, in 30 attempts, but no, but it's not through the fact that I couldn't see when I couldn't actually see what I was looking at. I've uploaded videos where I'm seeing the buildings, okay, but when I get down to a foot, I get through that dirty air that just blocks everything out, so I can't see through that. Now, when I stand up and I hold the camera at 5 or 6 foot in elevation, I'm seeing the buildings in their entirety. Now, bearing in mind that those buildings should be long gone beyond the curve, right? That's already a win every single time I go down to this location and film it. But trying to replicate that 1 foot observation is incredibly difficult because you need the right weather conditions. It has to be still. The waves aren't supposed to be splashing up in front of your face. There's probably a whole host of things that were going on.
Can you do 2 or 3 Because I mean, look at my
Well,
screen, dude. Like
yeah.
I've done this several times, right? And this
Yeah.
is the thing. This is 26 miles. These buildings are obviously being obstructed by what looks like the water. It's clear as day. It's a P900. It's not using digital zoom. The VR is off, right? So this is even further than this observation.
Can you
And for
see the
some
refraction
reason,
that's going on there?
it's neither here nor there. I understand. Yes, there's mirroring. I've always conceded that. That's fine. But there's highways under here. There's other buildings that are being completely obstructed, Ranty.
Well, we
And
also,
this is from 22 feet. This is from 22 feet. But
yeah.
look at the difference between
But
1 foot
But you filmed,
or 2 feet, rather.
Yeah. But you filmed a hyena or something on the other side of the land, and
What does the hyena have to do with anything,
because
dude?
from 22 feet, it should have been long gone beyond the curve.
How do you know? You've never been over here. How do you know how far this distance is? By looking at Google Earth?
Because we
half
walked.
the time you're in Google Earth, you're looking at 2010 images, dude. You don't even use the calendar on Google Earth.
Well,
So the
maybe
You're not even
2010
getting
images
up to date stuff.
Well, hang on, Tim. Maybe the onus should be on you to provide a location for where those actual dogs were, or hyenas. Maybe you should tell us where they were.
No.
In relation to your
I'm showing
elevation.
something that's very evident. I'm showing something that's very evident. Look at this building right here. This is the Capitol State Building, right?
Yeah.
And when I get
Yeah.
lower,
Ranty, you've just been
this
obfuscated.
happens every time.
Ask him the question about the
No,
hyenas again.
shut up, Riley.
No,
Shut up,
ask the
Riley.
question about the hyenas
Shut
Hold
again.
up,
on,
Riley.
Anthony.
I'm not here
Just
to
leave
talk
them
to
to
you.
it.
I'm not talking to you. I'm asking Ranty to ask the question again because you ignored it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the point. The point is, if you
This
tell me
is
when
your obfuscation on the actual evidence right here, guys. Look at this 2 foot. Listen. This is my question here. This is 2 foot observation, right?
Yeah.
If we had a laser that could go 26 miles and wouldn't, it had a culminator on it, it would be decently sized.
Right, I'm going to show you
on your new perspective thing. Would that laser light be 6 foot where the actual building is, or B, would it be basically 6 foot or in the line of sight of where it's at 90 degrees parallel to the ground?
Right, let me show you.
Can you guys answer that for me? Because I really want to know. I think
I'm
this
gonna
actually
answer it.
is a good thing you guys need to think about with this
I'm
whole
going to
perspective
answer it
argument you have right now.
I'm going to answer it right now with an image that I took yesterday. Right, so here we go. This is my image from yesterday. Right by the water.
Look at that, dude. I mean, what can you get from that? What can you get from that?
Tim, he's just come on, just let him talk.
So we have the top of the buildings here, and we know that we can see down to the bottom. We know we can see that now. Also, you see this line going through here. This clear. There's like a clear line. Follow my cursor. There's a clear line going through here. Everything above that is just the air mimicking the water underneath. Right? I've got a video of it actually showing you this. All this wavy stuff here is just the air mimicking the water underneath. When you take that into consideration and you've got the buildings and you line everything up, you could literally put that 1 foot observation, overlay it on this, and it would be exactly the same. It's just that this entire section here that we should be able to see it isn't the curve of the earth that's obstructing it. It's the air that's not allowing us to see through to the bottom of these buildings. That's all it is.
So are you saying that's the same thing that happens to me on these very
yeah,
clear
I can
images of the
prove-
buildings?
Do you know how I can prove this? Because this land that comes across on the left-hand side doubles back on itself, just like Soundly's videos. It comes out
dude,
and goes
that
back on
happens.
itself.
That happens.
Yeah.
It's bad atmospheric conditions and you're taking pictures. I agree,
Perfect.
man. I don't know.
Perfect. So we know that on other days when I go and it's clearer and the weather conditions are better and we don't have this haze that's going on and we don't have the water churning up, that we can see these buildings in their entirety. This is what I filmed yesterday. Right? Now
You
your
filmed
image shows
the buildings in entirety?
Yes, in their entirety.
Where's that at?
What do you mean? I've just showed it before. 3702. This one.
So that's filming. Okay. We'll look at that
Video.
kind of refraction that's going on here.
Yeah, above it.
The double
Not
windows
below,
right there.
not below.
across the
Yeah,
building.
you see the difference, right? Below, on the first image that I've just seen, the refraction is happening below and around the water. In this image, which is what we've said all along, we got underneath the refraction zone, and now the refraction is happening at the top. This building, these two windows, they're being pulled up, not down. So we're actually getting under the refraction zone, and we're not looking parallel. We're not looking into it at an angle. We're looking across the water, and we're avoiding this band of refraction. The camera's capturing it at the top, but the bottom, all the buildings at the bottom, everything that you're seeing in this image is exactly how you'd expect to see it over a flat plane, down to the rocks, the buildings.
Oh, give me a
medical
break. There's
center.
refraction like mad, dude. Give me a break.
Mad refraction up at the top. There's the layer of refraction. You can see it there. That's where you can see the refraction. So it shouldn't. So anything underneath it is not refracted down. The refraction layer is here.
Because it looks normal and the others, the other parts don't. How do you know that?
Can you bring up the picture of the clock again, Ranty?
Sorry?
The clock picture.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah. Because that clearly, I mean, right, on this image, you can see the clock tower pretty much in its entirety. It's slightly bigger than normal, the face, but in just a couple of images' time, you will see the difference. Where are we?
So mine are 9 miles more, and look how much more clear mine are, dude. I mean, I don't understand what's going on here. I really don't.
It's rubbish.
Right, look at this.
Why we have to look at your stuff? It looks so like just
Show me
terrible,
the answer,
dude.
Tim.
Why is it?
Come on.
So you're denying that this is the medical building, or would you agree that that is?
I was the one that agreed. I said
Right.
if you could do that,
Should
prove
we
that
do-
you're at 1 foot.
Which I did.
That would be interesting.
Okay, so have I passed the test for proving that that I was in exactly the same spot at the same time, holding the camera?
No, you have not.
Are you
No.
joking?
Listen. This is what happened.
Hold on, Tim, because we've just got to the point where he addresses the very thing you claim on almost every video with your footage is obstruction caused to curvature. And he's saying, here's the same obstruction that you claim is curvature, but this time it's going up. Look, this clock's doubled upwards. Now, where you have the tops of the buildings refracted down, it happens to coincide with exactly the amount that would be obscured on Ranty's images if you were to invert this refraction and have it replicate your refraction, which is going down. So he's trying to get you to acknowledge that in this image, he has got an upward refraction and a clear line of sight to everything, shore to shore.
I don't see that in that same way. How high is that medical building? How high is the elevation?
Forget the medical
above
building.
sea
Look at
level
the
where
clock.
medical
Look at
building
the
is?
clock. Forget the medical building. Look at the clock. Do you see that?
What about it?
It's going up
Yeah,
on
it's
itself. Do you
terrible
see
refraction.
that? Do you understand that it's
understand
going
that.
up, Tim,
It's
not
terrible
down?
because it proves that it's flat.
Right, it's going up. So how much of
My
this
God.
stuff behind the clock would be obscured? The stuff above it, right? We can't see through this inferior or superior mirage because it's blocking
Oh,
the
those
stuff.
exist now to flat
Hold
earthers.
on,
Superior
Timmy.
mirages
Let's
exist
just
now.
put the steam back in your
okay.
ears while you get the explanation that you've asked for. What causes the obstruction in
That's
your
not an
pictures?
explanation. I don't want an explanation for what
Well,
you think
go
things
away.
are. You're wrong.
Go
Haven't
away.
addressed the
Go back to
parallax.
bed. If you don't care and you just want to live in your fantasy world and reapply your maths without worrying
Listen,
about
I'm
perspective.
the one coming to you guys saying that this would actually
Oh, we're
be
so
a very
blessed.
interesting observation.
Oh, thank you, Timmy.
for the
Thank you.
globe.
We're so grateful.
Stop misrepresenting me. Thank you.
No,
Right.
we're saying there is
Observations of
a
the flat Earth
fold
prove the
line
globe.
that
You
pushes
get it.
the refraction above. And your images have the same effect, but below, obscuring the stuff below it.
Oh.
Are you done?
Did you see my presentation before where I showed you that I was in exactly the same spot and I could reference that using this post in the foreground and the lighthouse behind it? Did you see that entire presentation and the boat traversing the screen? Did you see this at the start of the show? I bet you didn't.
This show or no?
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
didn't
I
see
thought you were
it.
talking about your
Right,
live
well, I did it
presentation
for you.
the other day.
It's probably a 10-minute at the start of this show. If you watch it back, the first 10 minutes, I addressed that entire point about my exact position and proving that I could not have been in any other place but the same spot that I took the video from. The video shows me no more than 2 feet away from the water's edge and holding the camera down at my knees.
Do you ever check the internet to see like good days to go out, like good
No, I just
distance?
go every day.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
And by the way, I would like to say that flat earthers that actually like Ranty's content, I would suggest maybe Ranty to set up maybe just a PayPal just to throw a few bucks here and there at him, because he does actually go and spend money. I've done 6 observations myself over at Antelope Island, cost $10 each time, plus like $5 in gas. I'm not looking for money. I'm just saying I understand that costs are incurred. People love your content, but probably don't want to cop up anything for it. So I would suggest people to do that. You do actually, you are feet on the ground actually doing observations, which I appreciate. You try to actually get the right information out there, though your explanations I don't agree with per se. I'm just saying you actually go and do stuff, which I appreciate.
Well, I would like it if you could perhaps go back after this live stream finishes, watch the first 10 minutes of this stream over again, and I will address that entire point. That I'm
Listen, Ranty.
same
I was talking about this picture.
Hang on,
I was talking about the picture that you said you were 1 foot off the ground right here.
All these pictures are from 1 foot observation.
This is from 1 foot.
All of them, all of those, that series of about 25 images that I've just displayed right now are all from 1 foot observation.
This seems like it would have been a decent day to take a decent picture, dude. You got to put it on timer, put it on 10 seconds, move away from the camera, let it freaking take a nice picture, man.
dude. I can't.
Listen.
Right.
This
First of all,
is
I don't
8
have
more
a
miles.
get
This
down
is
to
8 more
No,
miles,
Ranty,
dude.
don't interrupt
Look
him.
how
Come
much
on, just
clearer
let him
it
give
is.
you this advice. I'm not going to be. This is going to sound mean. Tim takes a mean picture. He's got the same camera as you. Just listen to his advice. What can it hurt?
Yeah, I know, but I'm by the ledge. The tide comes in, the tide goes out. I don't have a tripod that can go less than a foot. The lowest it will go to is 1.5 feet. Now, if you say that I can set my camera up, level it all up, set the timer, and then watch as the tide comes in and takes everything with it, that's fine, because I don't have the luxury of setting up like Tim can and take a really mean picture. I have to be avoiding the tide as it comes in and goes out all the time. It's like
I just don't believe that the tide is that like crazy over there, dude. I mean, is it tsunamis continuously every 30 seconds, man? I mean, you don't have to take it from a foot,
I would
foot and
say
a half.
every minute or so, it moves about 3 feet. Maybe not 3 feet, maybe 1.5 feet every
Tim,
minute.
can I ask you? Do you know what the tide
Yeah,
height is here?
right after this, I would
Tide
love
height is here,
somebody,
Tim? 9-meter tide, 27 feet.
if somebody with money that's a flat earther could get him a nice tripod, a Manfrotto or something nice, a couple $100, $100, whatever. Get him a decent one. He's gonna go do observations.
That won't change. That won't change the position, Tim. It's a 9-meter tide here, 27 feet.
It will, because his images and his photography and stuff is on a bad tripod, dude. There's a big difference. Okay,
I agree that he needs a tripod, but I don't agree that it would improve the photos when you're a meter off the tide in this situation, because Ranty's right. The beach is pretty much flat. It's pretty much level, and the tide comes in really fast. When it starts moving in, it comes in really fast.
I'm talking about a 10-second picture.
It takes more than 10 seconds to set your camera up and get the level flat, and then
all I can say
the wind
is
breaks so that the wind doesn't make the camera move and all that. It's not that straightforward, Tim.
It is. I do it all the time. Okay.
Yeah, without a tide.
Going to Los Angeles this weekend.
Without a tide.
With a tide.
Right, we've got a 9-meter tide.
9-meter tide that comes in rapidly.
27 feet. Yeah, and the beach is pretty much flat. It comes in really fast, really quick.
I don't even want to talk to you, man. That last time that we talked about the whole thing about Isle of Man, we defined terms and then you changed it up at the very last second. Then
Don't speak to me then, Tim. Point is, Ranty's point is correct. 27 feet is a big tide. It comes in fast. If you want him to get close to the water, you can't have it both ways. He either gets close to the water, but he has to move quickly, or he moves further up the beach and then he can do a long exposure. But you can't have it both ways. Ranty's right.
Look, Ranty, all I'm saying is I've given you a few tips. I would personally, because I don't live over there, I would like to see this observation perfected, done several times to where we have different days, different atmospheric conditions, maybe even the same day, but different times. I understand it's a lot to ask of you. I'm just saying that this would be good evidence in your corner. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I've done it every day, Tim. And
it doesn't make any sense to me.
I've got fantastic proofs every day that I go. You know, even
So
that image that was
the
squished,
elevation, what is the elevation of that medical center?
it does. It's not even on the top 10 highest buildings in Barrow. So, so you tell me, it's got to be
It's
under
60 feet.
120 feet,
It's 60 feet.
60 feet. So I'm seeing
Yep.
it at 60 feet. Awesome. So that's just proof that I'm seeing shore to shore. Yeah.
Well, there's so much in between there, though. In your line of sight, from that observation point, there's so much in between there, and it's really hard for me to believe because there's actually a point where it's 35 feet, where there's other buildings. There's these little circular things. I'm not sure how high those are, but it's really odd to me that you can see that so clearly without any obstruction of just buildings.
It's because it's flat, mate.
No. If it was flat, it would be obstructed by buildings. I'm saying there are buildings in the line of sight of that observation, is what I'm saying, even if it was flat.
And on the video,
On this picture that I have up, on this whole observation that I'm talking about, it doesn't make sense to me. Okay, all of your other videos, there's like ocean turbines and there's all this stuff going on where it's like, yeah, that's obviously curvature, but this one doesn't make any sense. And I looked at it for quite a while.
well, it's got you guessing. Then that's good. Maybe you'll come back to the flat. Who knows?
The thing is even if I could every single piece of sand on that adjacent beach over there, it wouldn't take away all of those things that I told you when we talked on my show that make me have a justified belief that the Earth is a sphere. Is that funny or?
Yeah.
No, well,
Yeah, that is funny. Because even if you saw that the Earth was flat, you would still accept the celestial sphere that you believe makes a sphere, Earth, right?
Oh, actually, I'm saying that one observation wouldn't sway all the things like the
Well, it
equinox.
isn't one observation, Tim. There's a preponderance of evidence that shows that the sphere Earth is wrong.
Yeah,
Evidence.
we got
There's
a
no
body of evidence.
It's a preponderance of evidence.
Oh, the
Lot of
body of evidence. The body of evidence.
body
Yeah.
of, your body of science.
You
We
show
got
me.
a body
You show
of
me.
evidence.
Or when you put it all your
Large quantities,
plans together and
multiple footage, lots of it.
it's all been debunked.
Oh, of course it
Has
is.
not. This has
Saying
not.
it's debunked,
Yeah,
don't
you
mean-
can debunk
Got a small
like
channel.
videos. Like, yeah, this doesn't exist. You shouldn't look at it because it doesn't exist, right? You debunk
Well,
the footage.
to you would be look at this picture of curvature. Oh no, that's the optical slant.
Yeah, that's
what
right.
debunked to
Yeah,
you. Yeah.
we can
okay.
prove it. And your footage with that drone proved it like none other. Thank you for that. Showed
Okay, on a lighter note,
how when the camera actually moves up, the apparent slant migrates into the distance. That was fantastic. Thank you for helping me prove my theory.
Apparent slant. Like the apparent horizon. I wonder where that comes from, guys. Have you ever looked that word up? Apparent horizon?
Yeah, and we can
Isn't
see
that-
how far away from the observer it's meant to be on the metabunk curve calc, and we
What
can
does that
also
actually-
loads of boats that
what-
go way beyond it.
What is
So why would
apparent
that be?
horizon from? What is apparent horizon from, Riley?
It's often caused by some element of mirage or refraction.
In general relativity, something you disbelieve, actually. Look it up.
Einstein's general relativity.
Yeah, look it up.
And with that, I'm going to say first and foremost a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. And of course, a massive, huge, enormous thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate. If you hated the show, well then you know what to do, but if you liked it, consider sharing it with a friend or maybe subscribing if you've not done so already. I've been Nathan Oakley and I will see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!